Okay, so I have a friend who loves reading and is always making videos on reviews of different books that he's read, and I decided that I would do that too. Sounds like an awesome idea. So I recently read the Elizabeth Smart My Story, and I know it came out a while ago, but I never read it because it just sounded like it would be this horrible book to read. And recently, I just happened to be bored and was like, I can read a book. And I just randomly picked it up at the library and started reading it. And it ended up being a really awesome book. It did tell about horrible stuff that happened to her, but there were a couple of things I really liked in her book. And one thing I liked was where she talked about the guy that kidnapped her would, up on the mountain near her house, the guy that kidnapped her would be really lazy, and he would just decide, oh, I don't want to go get water today, and they would run out of water, and Elizabeth talked in the book about how it was this horrible thing, being super thirsty for 2 days or something, and he was just like, I'm gonna die, and how can I survive this? He prayed, I believe, that he would live through this. And I thought it was really cool, her story about praying, and then they all went to bed, and he woke up in the middle of the night, and wondered what woke her up. Turned out there was a cup of water by her pillow, and it was just really weird, and he looked over, and the people that kidnapped her were asleep, and he looked back at the water and was like, where did it come from? Who would have brought this? No one knows where I'm at, except these two people I'm with. He ended up drinking the water. It was real water. And then he was just like, it must have come from God. That's so weird, but it must have, I prayed. And so I thought that was really cool, because then later, they were in California, and the same thing happened. The guy that kidnapped her got all mad and took off for like a week. And her and the lady were there in the camp for a whole week without food or water. And it had been like 3 days or something. And Elizabeth was just like, I can't survive. How am I going to survive? I believe she prayed again, like, please help me survive. And she went to sleep and then woke up a couple of hours later, and it was like pouring rain. And so they collected all this water, and that's the water they were drinking. And so I thought that was really cool, because like 6 months ago or something, I was living in this apartment. I'd gone in with a friend, and I just left a really horrible apartment, and this friend offered to let me live with her, and I was just desperate to get to a better place from where I'd been, and I went with her. Turned out was not a good place either. Unfortunately, there were cockroaches. If you've ever had cockroaches, you know they're horrible. They will follow you the rest of your life. Like, they get in your stuff, and they'll just follow you. And so, once I was in there realizing there's these cockroaches, I was just like, oh great, I'm gonna have cockroaches the rest of my life. And as time went on, this friend turned out to be a bad friend. There was a lot of dishonesty going on, and just a lot of, just dishonesty, lies, and so forth. And it got to a point that I just walked out. And I was really concerned when I left that I would take cockroaches with me. And it turned out, oddly enough, I left at a time this girl was not around. I went through all my stuff, packed it, left it within 12 hours. And I was like, I'm gonna have cockroaches the rest of my life. It was really weird though, because I suddenly got this feeling like cockroaches are not going to follow you to the new apartment. Oddly enough, when I moved in, I went through all my stuff again, didn't see any cockroaches, and I've never actually had any cockroaches come into my apartment. since I left that other place. I did end up leaving, super annoyed, ended up leaving a futon and a blender there, because those were things that cockroaches probably would have been in. So I did end up leaving stuff in the process, and that's a lot of why I probably didn't end up with the cockroaches following me. But I also think that it was, as Elizabeth Smart talked about, if you're in a bad situation, but you're being good and you're praying and stuff, that God will help you, not to have these bad things follow you the rest of your life. And so, like with her, almost starving and everything, God helped her. And with me, I had this horrible roommate, and I ended up leaving, and the cockroaches didn't follow me, which I'm so glad about. Cockroaches are horrible, and they're really dirty and nasty. Anyways, another thing I liked a thing that was really surprising to me in her book was where she talked about being in the Salt Lake City Library, and a policeman or someone connected with the police came and started trying to talk to him, being like, "We're pretty sure this girl that's with you is someone that is missing." And it's just so confusing how she didn't just jump up and wasn't like, "It's me, I'm the one that's been kidnapped." But I've heard her talk in other places away from the book, just how people always ask me why I didn't jump up and tell the police it was me. But it's just, one of those things where it's really hard for the reader to imagine how much they manipulated her and brainwashed her into thinking, if I report them, if I defend myself, they'll kill my family. And so that was just super hard to imagine that, but that, unfortunately, a reality of people end up with kidnappers. Is kidnappers are liars, and they know how to manipulate and get their way a lot of times. But I really liked at the end of the book where the police did come. One of them was like, "We've got to get her away from these people to talk to her, because they're talking for her. This girl terrified of them." And I thought that was really cool that the one policeman noticed and was like, "We need to talk to her away from the group." And that was when they got her to admit that she was the one that they were looking for. And so I think that, she would talk a lot about God in her book, and I think that was, inspired from God to the policeman to get her away from them. The bad people they may not have gotten it out of her that he was the one. And I just liked in general where he talked about at the end about how he never actually did therapy, and I really thought he would have done therapy, but he never did therapy. And he talked about how things that helped me were playing my harp, riding horses, and being grateful, and having faith in God. And I really like that, because a lot of bad stuff happens in the world, but you don't have to let it make you bitter and angry at the world or at those bad people that do those things to you. And there was one other thing.